Okay. What about as you mentioned a good point in there with players? Sometimes they come in and are just going through the motions. They're not there. They're there presently. They're not there mentally. They're there in
Mhm.
the present, not there mentally. How do you snap them out of going through those motions and get them mentally to where they need to be so they can actually get something out of practice? Because it's very prevalent with high school athletes.
Mhm.
If it's strength training, if it's in cage work, or just regular practice, it happens way more times than really it should, quite frankly. But it does. Teenagers, they get to a point where they're just not mentally there.
Totally get it. When I was in the weight room a lot, the thing I would do is I would completely shut a athlete's program down. I'd take their program away. I'd write them a new one on the board and say, "This is what you're doing today." And they'd look and be like, "This is too easy." And I'd say, "Well, you're not focused enough to do your actual program today, or you're not giving enough effort to do your actual program today. So I have to take a safer route now." And that used to kind of shock them into like, "Okay, okay, okay, I get it. I get it. I need to be a little bit more present." Because when you're asking athletes to load themselves, like weight on their back, deadlifting, that's a completely different safety issue. When
Right.
it comes to hitting, whether I'm in a team environment or a small group environment, sometimes getting away from the repetitions because I'm getting frustrated. The athlete probably feels a little frustrated or out of it. Slowing the session down and completely resetting and being like, let's go back to why. Why are you here? Why are we doing this? Give me one thing that we need to focus on and work on today. And maybe they feel overwhelmed and they just need to work on crushing the ball and not thinking. And then all of a sudden their drills are going to be very different than something that is super technique based that I originally had planned for them. And maybe sometimes the reminder of like, hey, you know what, I'm here because I want to win a state championship as a team. Well, that's great. This is not something a state championship team does, is check out and go through the motions. You show up even when you don't feel like it. Champions do things they don't feel like. And Murphy mentioned 2 weeks ago, there's 307 teams. What do the other 306 do? Well, if you want to be that last team to win a championship, you got to be doing things differently than what feels natural to everybody else. And sometimes those little reminders are really, really helpful in that practice environment.